told him your name.
But you're gonna have to help me out.
To sing your praise forever and ever. Amen.
Welcome back, Warner fam. Today, I'll recap a 2011 thriller action film, Blitz. So keep your eyes wide open and stay safe. The movie starts with Detective Sergeant Tom Brandt, a tough, no-nonsense cop from a rough Southeast London police station. He's already in a bad mood when he spots three young punks trying to steal a car. Without a second thought, Brandt charges at them, swinging a Hurley with all his might. The three teens never see it coming as they scramble to escape his fury. The streets are dark and dangerous, just like Brandt, who doesn't play by the rules. This is just the beginning, and danger is lurking around every corner. Brandt is walking down the hallway when PC Elizabeth Falls approaches him. She asks for his help with passing her sergeant's exam. Brandt looks at her seriously, knowing her past all too well. He tells her to take it easy and give it some time. She just got out of rehab. Falls had been an undercover cop in the drug squad, but things got out of control and she ended up addicted. Meanwhile, Brandt's boss warns him to keep his anger in check. But during a meeting with a police psychologist, the tension starts to rise. The psychologist brings up some troubling incidents, like bugging the superintendent's office, beating a guy unconscious at a pool hall, and of course, the earlier attack on those three teens. It's clear that Brandt's actions are catching up with him. Brandt attends the funeral of Chief Inspector Roberts' wife, feeling the weight of the sadness around him. The air is heavy with grief, but little does he know, the worst is yet to come. That same night, tragedy strikes again. PC Sandra Bates is shot dead by an unknown assailant. The shockwaves hit hard, and suddenly, Brandt's world feels even more dangerous than before. Sergeant Porter Nash is transferred from the West London branch to take over as acting inspector, replacing Roberts, who's on extended leave. The tension is already high, but it doesn't stop there. A young boy shows up at PC Falls' door, scared and desperate for help. He thinks he's killed someone during a gang attack. Falls, unsure of what to do, asks Brandt for a favor. He gives her the name of Detective Inspector Craig Stokes to help her get answers. Meanwhile, the shooter, Barry Weiss, is making his move. He calls reporter Harold Dunlop, taunting him by saying he's the killer. Weiss gives Dunlop a choice between 7 and 8. When Dunlop picks 8, Weiss calmly tells him that's how many cops he plans to kill. Sure enough, Weiss walks down the street and shoots PC Theo Nelson, who's sitting in his car, completely unsuspecting. The fear and chaos are only just beginning. The Southeast London police station is thrown into chaos after the shootings. Everyone is on edge, and things are getting out of control. Brandt meets with an informant named Radner, who gives him a big lead. Radner tells Brandt that Weiss had once bragged about setting a police dog on fire just for practice. It's chilling, and it pushes Brandt closer to finding this dangerous killer. Brandt also opens up to Nash, telling him about a personal problem he's been hiding: recurring blackouts. Nash, with his own dark past, listens closely. He confides in Brandt about a time he attacked a pedophile in his own house, because there wasn't enough evidence to convict him. Brandt knows Nash is trying to help, but the darkness in both of their pasts seems to be closing in. The two of them decide to go after Weiss together. As they prepare to take action, Chief Inspector Roberts returns to duty. At Weiss's apartment, Brandt's heart races as he realizes he recognizes Weiss as the same guy he beat up in the billiards hall. The pieces of this dangerous puzzle are finally starting to fit. Weiss is thrown into a panic after Brandt and Nash visit his apartment. He quickly grabs his things and runs, leaving everything behind. But little does he know, Radner is quietly watching him. When Weiss leaves, Radner sneaks in and goes through his trash, finding a parking receipt that might be the clue Brandt needs. Weiss isn't done yet. He follows Chief Inspector Roberts to his apartment. There's a brutal struggle, and in a fit of rage, Weiss kills Roberts by smashing his head with a hammer. Realizing he's left a trail of evidence, Weiss steals a police uniform and Roberts' badge, setting the apartment on fire to cover his tracks. He calls reporter Dunlop, boasting about the murder and revealing that he's now calling himself Blitz. Nash quickly informs Brandt about what happened. The hunt for Blitz is getting more dangerous, and the tension is rising with every moment. Radnor heads to the parking garage, his heart racing. He finds Weiss's car, and when he opens it, his stomach turns. Inside, he discovers trophies from Weiss's killings, terrifying reminders of what this man has done. Radner quickly calls Dunlop and demands £50,000, offering the killer's identity in exchange. The tension grows as Radner now holds the key to ending the madness. Meanwhile, Falls meets with D.I. Stokes. She asks him to keep the boy's name a secret, and in return, Stokes takes her up on the offer, asking her out for a drink. It's a quiet moment, but things are about to spiral out of control. Dunlop meets Radner, and they head to the parking garage. Radner shows him the car, and Dunlop sees the horrifying evidence inside, but Weiss is watching them from the shadows. He moves fast, removing all the evidence before they can make a move. Weiss follows them to the bar, and in a brutal twist, he kills Radner in the men's restroom before he can tell Dunlop the truth about his identity. The mystery deepens, and Weiss remains one step ahead. Dunlop meets with Brandt and Nash, telling them about his conversation with Radner and where the car is parked. When they arrive at the location, they're hit with a major setback. The car is gone, and the building's CCTV is down. No evidence, no answers. The mystery deepens, and Weiss stays hidden in the shadows. Meanwhile, Falls and Stokes sit down for a drink. Little do they know, Weiss is watching them from across the street, his eyes cold and calculating. Back at the station, Brandt uncovers a terrifying connection. He learns that Weiss is targeting all the cops who arrested him, and Falls is next in line. Time is running out. Later, Stokes drops Falls off at her home and says he'll call her tomorrow. Falls misinterprets this, thinking he's rejecting her. Hurt and frustrated, she angrily storms off from the car, feeling more alone than ever. Weiss tracks down Falls and attacks her, but just as she's about to be overwhelmed, the boy she was trying to protect steps in. Tragically, the boy is killed in the process, leaving Falls devastated. Brandt and Nash rush to Weiss's apartment, only to find it empty. With no other leads, they decide to release his photo to the media. A taxi driver spots him and points the police in the right direction. Weiss manages to escape for a brief moment, but Brandt isn't far behind. He catches up to him in a train yard near Paddington, and after a tense chase, Weiss is finally caught. Meanwhile, Falls, shaken by the attack and overwhelmed by the trauma, falls into a dangerous relapse. Desperate for relief, she steals drugs from a dealer, sinking deeper into her struggles. At the station, Brandt, Nash, and the chief inspector have a serious conversation. They realize that without solid evidence, Weiss might walk free. The pressure builds as the case seems to slip away from them. Later, Brandt talks to Nash about the time he attacked a pedophile, hoping for some advice. But Nash shuts him down, refusing to discuss it any further. Meanwhile, Brandt faces Weiss, taunting him about his name, Blitz, calling him nothing but a coward. But despite his insults, he can't get Weiss to admit to the killings. Meanwhile, Stokes gets a tip from his informant that Falls is stealing drugs. He immediately contacts Brandt. They rush to her house and find her drunk and out of control. They throw away the drugs, helping her come to her senses and get back on track. The situation is tense, and Falls knows she's dangerously close to losing everything. Weiss is released from custody but is put under close surveillance. He slips through their watchful eyes, sneaking back to his flat to change into the police uniform he stole from Roberts' apartment. He drives carefully, avoiding the surveillance, and heads straight to Roberts' funeral. At the funeral, Weiss spots Brandt. Just then, Brandt gets a text message and leaves in a hurry. Weiss quickly follows him, knowing something big is about to happen. He tracks Brandt to the same parking garage where he had hidden his evidence earlier, the tension building with each step. Weiss follows Brandt up a flight of stairs, his pistol raised and ready. He demands that Brandt face him, but when Brandt turns around, it's actually Nash standing there. In a split second, Brandt strikes, hitting Weiss from behind with a crowbar. The gun Weiss dropped clatters to the ground. Nash picks it up. It's the same gun used in all the killings. He hands it to Brandt. Weiss realizes what's about to happen, panic setting in. He warns Brandt that his death would make headlines. Brandt, cool and collected, responds that Weiss is already cleared, no longer under investigation. But the real Blitz, Brandt explains, has a thing for shooting people in uniform, using the same gun that Weiss just dropped. Without hesitation, Brandt pulls the trigger and Weiss collapses. His life ended in a flash. Brandt and Nash step away from the rooftop, and Brandt laughs, saying the case might just stay unsolved, but as they walk away, the tension is far from over. The film wraps up with Brandt unleashing two dogs on Harold Dunlop, leaving the mystery hanging in the air as the screen fades to black. So, which awesome movie should we recap next? Drop your suggestions in the comments below and let's make it happen. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you never miss out on our movie recaps. We've got plenty more coming your way. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Produced by Warner Movie Recaps.